This is David Podcast number 9.
David? Who's David?
Good evening, Luke.
Good evening, sir.
Welcome back to Illogically Ignorant. This is podcast number 9. It has been a long time.
9. Ooh.
We haven't seen you guys in a while.
Seen you in a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. We were on a sabbatical this summer. The plan was to film some, get some audio, but never worked out. I think we're just busy. He was working all the time.
You were working all the time.
I wasn't really working much.
Come on, you're working 40-hour weeks.
That's true. I was working 40-hour weeks.
Yeah.
I was at the computer.
Button pusher.
Yeah. So it's been a while. We can catch up. I think we've had a lot of changes. This might have been like the summer of metamorphosis for us, I think.
We've been on the Sigma male grind set.
I'm always on that grind set.
You haven't always been on the grind set.
Now I am. Now we're both always on that grind set.
Now we stay on the grind set.
So, do you want to update us with your... We can go you, then me, and then we can talk about our shared updates, I guess.
Our shared love.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our forbidden love. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, so over the summer, I'm applying to PT school right now, so I was working on getting my physical therapy shadowing hours in, so that was a ton of fun. But before that, I got my, personal training certificate. Got that within the first 2 weeks of summer, and just kind of used both of those to work and shadow throughout the summer.
Yeah, he was very busy bee this summer. I had an internship, kind of hanging out. Decided actually that my plan. So I'm graduating this semester. So after the semester, we have to figure out what we're doing with the podcast. How we're gonna figure that out. We gotta work with technology. Gotta record calls, digital.
We've got a powerful tool called Zoom. I don't know if you've heard of it.
We could do Zoom podcasts.
I don't know if you've ever heard of Zoom.
No, I'm not acquainted. This past year, I've kind of been doing everything in person.
Oh, you have been?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
So, but my plans after I've been talking to recruiters and planning on going Navy officer path. That's kind of the plan right now. I'm excited. This is the first time I've been excited for something in a while, I think, in terms of development. So I started running. I hadn't run in probably over 7 years at this point. Started running, and that leads us into our joint operations, in which we have been
operations.
Yes,
we're not in the military.
In which we have been pursuing MMA. We just completed
a little bit.
We're not looking to fight or like looking to compete by any means,
yes.
but it's more of a sport, like fun kind of activity for us.
Specifically focusing on Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing.
Correct. So we just finished our second week.
Yep.
So I mean, like, we're no experts by any means, but I feel like we've learned a lot. It's been a lot of fun. Great instructors. Great people there in general.
Yeah.
Like you find some great people there.
Yeah, we get beat up all the time.
Yeah. Jocko was right. He was part of the inspiration for me to start doing jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
So
I had previously done it. I did it last year before the whole world shut down. We weren't allowed to touch people. This was my reignition back into jiu-jitsu.
So he's kind of sandbagging a little bit because
hard.
Because everyone assumes that he's a beginner since he just came in with me the past 2 weeks. So people look at him, they'll be like, oh, it's just a big guy who I can kind of stomp on him. But it's pretty cool that.
But I do that on purpose too. It's not just so I can stay with you and like make sure that you're learning everything. Okay, it's more for me as well, because with jiu-jitsu you always got to practice the fundamentals, and it's always good to go back and just clear your mind, lose your ego, throw it out the window, and just become a newbie again. Brand new white belt, no stripes. Get ready to learn.
Yeah. It'll be really funny actually if like just as the podcast goes on, you can just see like a slow spread. We'll do a time lapse and then
just every 5 minutes you're just like, okay, nothing. 10 minutes.
I think you're gonna get to it. It's getting to be a little hot. If you haven't noticed, I don't know how you didn't notice, but new setup.
New set, completely new place. Our podcast has been doing really, really well, and we were able to afford a bigger set.
Mr. Rogan flew us out actually. We're in his basement right now.
Yep.
Hanging out with the Joe.
with the Joe.
That's what he wants
With
us
the
to call him.
Rogans.
Yeah. Nice family.
Good, great family.
Great family.
Yeah.
I guess in terms of what we've been doing, that's kind of a good catch up.
Yeah. But actually, though, our basement flooded where we were previously recording, so we had to move. We had to relocate.
Yeah, and I think we like this area. We've been trying to do some decorations. You can see a little bit. We have some albums that we're big fans of. Got some books here.
Have you read them all?
I have read half of one. I'm working on it. It's been tough. I used to read a lot as a kid.
Are you allowed to like showboat about books that you haven't read? That you just
I think that you plan to read.
Okay.
I definitely plan to read.
Okay.
You know? I have read The Odyssey.
Okay.
And I'm halfway through 12 Rules for Life.
Okay. So I've read Outliers, 12 Rules for Life. I'm gonna read Extreme Ownership once you're done with it. I tried 48 Laws of Power.
It's a lot. It's a dense book.
It's a book that would a book like that would be really good on a podcast because it's really, I don't know, it contradicts a lot of normal thoughts.
We could start doing that. I know that's what Jocko does. Like he pulls in like he starts reading some parts from books. We can start doing that. I don't want to copy him directly.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
I don't want to copy him directly, but that could definitely be a consideration for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've been trying to get after it. We've been working out constantly, doing the MMA at night. I'm trying to read more.
I've got a personal goal of reading a new book once a month. It's going well. I've been able to do it for about 2 months now. So.
I mean,
It's a start. They're not big books or anything.
Yeah.
I've got like a little.
Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Yeah.
You excited for that movie?
Gosh, you know me so well.
But yeah, like I used to read a lot as a kid, but it's. I think since like high school, it just slowed down pace because I think. I mean, this is me making excuses, but honestly, I did have more going on. You know, like, you have like social things going on with like school. You're just always there.
Well, and beyond that too, you're reading more the higher you go up. So like in high school, you have more readings than you did in middle school, and in college, you have more readings than you did in high school. So
reading for leisure is kind of
that's kind of pushed to the side. For me, for the longest time, especially in college, my only reading time would be in the summer, and especially like on vacations. I could just whip out a book and just go to town because that's the only time I thought I could make for it.
Yeah.
Past.
The nice thing is I was having trouble because I used to read mostly fiction. Actually, that was all I used to read. I was the Percy Jackson,
Harry
Alex
Potter.
Rider, Harry Potter,
Did
all
you read
those.
Harry Potter?
Did I not tell you? I read through that series like 12 times.
12?
Like I probably
each
read.
book?
Yeah,
12 times?
each book.
Oh,
Yeah.
Gosh, you monster.
I mean, I loved that series as a kid.
Yeah.
Like that's I legitimately used to read a lot. I remember like elementary, intermediate school. I would be always on the top of our like reading programs.
Dude, I was too.
At the very top.
Dude, okay, did you have the AR quizzes?
I was so the second most in my school was 400.
Yeah.
They had to build out more of the wall because I was the only person at 800.
Yeah. I don't know the numbers exactly, but I was always first for AR points by hundreds
yeah.
of points. And it was just because I would read the bigger books like Harry Potter, and it would give you, what, like 50 points? Like a ton of points for a single book.
I don't remember the scoring system anymore.
I don't remember the
AR
scoring system, but I just remember it because my mom's a reading specialist back at elementary school that I used to go to. Don't look me up.
Yeah. You're giving out a lot here.
That's fine. She's a reading specialist, and she always pushed me to be like the #1 kid for that because that was kind of like her department.
Yeah.
So, but she's got all those files, and we were looking at it, I think, like a year ago, and we just laughed because I think at one point I was 1,000 points ahead of in front of second place.
It's kind of a shame. I don't know if it's a personal thing, but also I think that there is some fault to the system at that. Like, there's a lot of, I think, love for reading that's kind of pushed out, of kids. I think, as a kid, I know, like, me and you were on, like, one complete extreme side of the spectrum in terms of, like reading and, like, liking that. But I think there were a lot more kids who used to like to read. And I think that, like, as school went on, I think that it was so focused on a lot of, like, mandatory readings. And that really, I think that kind of messed with...
That messed with me.
Yeah.
Did it mess with you?
I don't think like reading the mandatory ones actually like made me enjoy reading. Like I still always enjoyed reading the same amount.
Yeah.
So it wasn't my issue, but I saw a lot of my friends who used to read a lot and like they kind of just stopped reading because when you start making it a chore, and I get why. There's kids that don't like reading, but I think it's such a shame when you're destroying the kids' love for reading that actually do like reading, just to try to get these kids who are never going to read in the future to like read a book or two.
To read a book, yeah. Well, because then you turn your passion into work, and I don't know, you don't want to do that.
Right.
Like just in general, like if you're passionate about something and you turn it into work, it doesn't always work out the best.
Speaking of that, I know we talked about this recently, but you want to talk about your passion about what you're learning right now or not learning in terms of So Lucas told me. Lucas told me.
Now, what did I say to you?
So I think this is a common thread. This is actually part of why we started the podcast. It's because neither of us felt very fulfilled and passionate about anything we were learning.
Yeah, 100%.
But you were excited about PT school.
I'm excited for this semester because for at least from as far as my undergrad career goes, it's been 3 years of just you have to do this class, you have to do this class, you have to do this class, and these classes don't line up with anything that you actually want to learn or what you want to do for your future career. And then maybe by the time you're a senior, you can take a couple classes that you might enjoy, but even then, it's just the start. It's just the start of what you're going to be doing in grad school. So it feels like a lot of this 4 years has been wasted, especially considering how much money we're paying to go here.
Yeah.
And we're not even at like some crazy expensive private school.
And we're in state too.
And we're in state where we're paying at a private school out of state. I don't know if that matters in state of out of state.
I think it does for private. Yeah.
Well, we're not forking out $100,000 a year to go here, but it's still just so expensive, and I don't think I'm getting the value that I need. Yeah. And I kind of went into that when I went for my personal training certificate. For the first time this past summer, I thought I was learning something that could be applicable to my career. And I was just like, wow, I did this completely on my own. I did it on my own, and I learned more in the 2 to 3 weeks that I studied for it than I have the past 4 years of my college education. And I thought that was nuts and ridiculous.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's a little bit different because I'm not really passionate about like the goal of. So I'm studying business, as you might have heard on our Business Blues podcast with Jacob, our buddy. And it's not a topic I'm particularly fond of. It's not something I hate. Like I don't hate what I'm studying, but it's just not a passion of mine.
Yeah.
But it's definitely the same kind of deal where it's like I remember I was talking to my dad and I told you this, but my dad asked me. He was like, "Oh yeah, but like you've learned like a good amount from school." I was like, "No, like
you've learned how to use Excel really well."
Yeah.
And I think that's it. Maybe your interviews are better. Maybe your resume is better.
I think that's the help. I think it's the professional side, but
that professional side, did you learn that from school or from your extracurricular activities?
It was all extracurriculars, baby. Yeah, and it's a shame because like I feel like I wasted. Well, like I talked to my parents, I feel like I wasted like their money too. You know, it's like in a way because I get out and I'm like I don't know any of this. Like I don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
In my mind,
everything that you learn, everything that you're going to be learning for your career is done on the job. Yeah.
Correct.
Which is. I don't know how I feel about that exactly. Yeah. Like, what are the 4 years at college spent for?
Yeah, but I'm
going to bars, I guess.
Yeah, well, for you, not for me as much. But
the one time a week I go out.
Yeah, but I'm excited. That's why I'm excited for like Navy because it'll be a shot to like, even though I'll still be doing business like related things, just because I'm locked in with my major with my degree.
And there's a structure with the Navy, right? It's you do this happens. This input happens, this output happens, right? So like you put 4 years in, you get this rank, you get this achievement, you get this amount of money. Whereas in school, you don't get that. You're not guaranteed to learn what you want to learn. You know. It's
too unstructured, and I do like the structure of the Navy, but also I think I like the like you were saying output, but like by output I mean also So I guess I'll elaborate. The part of the reason why I've always wanted to do military-related things, but part of the reason why I kind of pulled the trigger on that, so to speak, and started looking into it for real, was I was sitting in my internship in a great company. I loved working there. I love the people, but I was sitting there and I realized this is not what I really wanted to do. Just working with the numbers and then like going in, working with some numbers, going home.
Yep.
I think that I really wanted to be able to actually see what I was doing. You know, I feel like that's the nice thing about PT. Yep. You're working with people, you're seeing the direct results.
Well, have I told you my story of why I became started to go in that direction? Well, so PT has always been a thing that I've wanted to do. But throughout the course of like high school, teachers telling me like you shouldn't do that, you can't do that, it's way too hard, blah blah blah. And like a recent like my senior year of high school, I took like a personal finance class, and I was just like, oh, I'll be a personal finance advisor. That sounds cool. I'm working directly with people. My actions will help them in the long run. I'm like, okay, cool. That's what I want out of a career where I help and somebody's life is better because of my help. Awesome. But came into Kelly, and first semester it was all just corporate, and at the time I had a job that was essentially just an office job. I would go in, do some Excel work, do some just random office jobs. Like it wasn't like a true corporate position, but it felt close enough, and I didn't enjoy it. I hated going in. I didn't hate what I was learning because I thought it was all interesting, but just how it was being applied and how the school was pushing me to do something I didn't want to do. I got out and switched over to PT, where I feel like my actions would have more of a personal impact.
Yeah, in my experience, exact same thing. But in my experience, it was less they were pushing corporate. For me, I always felt that they were pushing banking really hard, right?
Banking.
Like
all banking and corporate. That I just kind of put those together.
Well, like all the professors would always be like, "Oh, here's how I applied this in my banking career." I'm like, I don't want to be a banker.
This is how you can get to New York.
Yeah, it's like
this easy 100-step program of how to get to New York.
And that's the thing too about like business is that none of it's like guaranteed. Like like you can do a great job, but like maybe it's just so like in my mind.
It's all fluff. It feels like all fluff.
We talked about this. I talked about this in the business podcast, but I feel like business is all made up in my mind. Like, not business. Okay, that was too broad. Finance. What am I studying? Finance feels made up. A lot of it.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it's like you could do as well as you want, but it's like one day, oh maybe something happens. Oh, market crashes. Suddenly, your job means nothing.
Yeah.
Or maybe I don't know. It just felt like the inputs and the outputs. I didn't know what was going on in the middle. I didn't know the process. I didn't know what was happening. I was like, is it just luck, or is it like?
It's a lot of luck, right?
Yeah, and I kind of wanted to do something more concrete.
It felt all chance based.
Yeah.
Like there was percentages like, okay, there's a 40% chance that this happens, a 30% chance that this happens, a 10% that this happens. But at the end of the day, you really don't know. It just feels like you're rolling the dice and hoping something good happens.
Exactly.
I'm in a finance class right now, and right now the teacher's defining it as we're trying to predict the future with finance. And I kind of just we're on a Zoom call, so I kind of chuckled a little bit. I was just like, you're not predicting the future. You're throwing darts. You're throwing darts in the future to see what will happen. And you really don't know what's going to happen.
And then when it hits one of your 100 guesses, you're like, oh look, I got it. Like I predicted that.
Yeah.
No,
I got it right.
No, you threw a bucket of paint at a dartboard.
Yeah.
That's what you did. And it's just.
And that's why even the smart. Well, I mean, I don't even know if they're smart, but like the people that are on hedge funds where they hedge their bet, they try to do better than the market. They struggle to beat the market. In fact, it's really rare that they do in a lot of cases where they can't even beat like the average like index fund, which just goes to show like you're just all that time, all that research spent into studying finance, you really have no idea what the future holds.
Do you think that? I guess we can. So we're actually talking. I think that our roots have changed a little bit in terms of our focus for the podcast because we've just kind of been just freeballing it, which I enjoy. I've enjoyed, but I guess I can tie that in a little bit to a more of a question structure. So like, in terms of that, do you think most people die fulfilled, or like do you think most people like are actually doing what they want? I'd go out on a limb and say I don't think most people are doing what they want.
No, I would say most people.
I'd say the vast majority aren't. Do you think that most people come to terms with that?
I think most people come to terms with it because they're just like, okay, I'm doing this job. It sucks. It really sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. But they give me a paycheck, and that paycheck feeds my family. And at the end of the day, that's all they care about. That paycheck feeds my family, and I can afford gas. I can afford rent. I can live my life maybe not perfectly, but you can live your life with that job. And I think that's what most people come to terms with.
Do you think it's more of a you find other like I guess purposes, and then you're like, oh, I'm fulfilling those like you said, like instead of a professional purpose, you're like, oh well, or like a personal purpose, you're like, oh well, I'm fulfilling a familial purpose. I'm fulfilling my like familial kind of responsibility and providing. Therefore, I'm fulfilled. Or do you think it's more settling like kind of like lying to yourself? Do you think it's more lying to yourself, or do you think it's more just people finding different purpose?
I mean, it's probably both, right? The truth is always in the middle.
Yeah. Maybe you should be a politician.
Gosh. Well, I've always been like that. It's just like I've never left, right, down the middle. I'm somewhere in the middle. I've learned my very first class here at IU actually taught me that. Be the binary buster. Be the person that's like, okay, find the answer in the middle, because that's where the answer is. It's never going to be on any extreme on any situation. And that's why I'm a devil's advocate, and that's why nobody likes me.
That's why we argue so much.
That's why we argue so much. Because I'll take a point that I don't even believe in and don't know how to defend, but I just throw it out there, and I want to see your reaction.
I'd say probably 90%, 95% of our arguments are probably you defending a point you don't actually believe. I'd wager. I don't think we've really disagreed on stuff that where you were telling me how you actually felt. I think me and you are very similar in terms of our stance on most things.
Most things.
Maybe not the degree or the severity.
No, definitely not the severity, but like
but at least
the initial steps.
The yes or no. I'd
yeah,
say.
yeah.
But I think that a lot of that comes from your devil's advocacy there. But
I guess.
But
also like most of it stems from me not knowing the answer fully. And I want to question what you know to help me understand how much you know and how much I can get from you. A lot of it's just like picking apart your point a little bit.
I guess mine is from a so I told Luke this, and it's more of a. It sounds cocky saying it, but it's no, it's
a little cocky.
I don't like playing devil's advocate or things like that because I think that my point is right, which I think makes sense because if you think about it, right, when someone's making a claim or they're taking a stance, don't they believe that their stance is right?
Not always.
Most people, I think, when they make a claim, when they say this is like this, aren't they like typically like, oh, I'm right? Like this, they wouldn't make that claim if they thought they were wrong.
They're right until they're proven wrong. Is that the mentality that you take, or are you just right?
Yeah, because you wouldn't make a claim. Well, you might, but the typical person wouldn't make a claim knowing that they're wrong or thinking that they're wrong even.
Maybe, yeah.
I think you can talk about the actual factual.
What if it's like to prove a point and you're just, but if you know the point's wrong and you just want to shut somebody down?
I think that's rare though. I'm saying people who like really take a stance on an issue.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. People who take a stance on an issue truly believe they're right.
If you're taking a stance, you think what you're doing is right.
That's
just to some degree, like factually right, but maybe morally not right.
I think that there might be some like cognitive dissonance there, but like I'm saying in terms of like factually like what you think, I think that's kind of why I don't really play devil's advocate or like I don't really entertain other sides as much because in my mind because I don't like making claims when I haven't thought it through. Yeah. So I spend a lot of time thinking it through. I like think of like counterpoints and like oh, how does that play into my argument, and then make that claim. So typically, I think in my mind, I have thought through my point so much that I've proved it.
So we just come at this from different angles. You've already thought through most of your arguments, whereas I have not, and I'm trying to learn as I'm talking.
Your mouth moves faster than your brain. Is that what it is? Or
so, I mean, sometimes I don't know. Like. A lot of these issues I don't think about on my day-to-day life just because of how busy we are, right?
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe you're so busy that you don't have time to think. Maybe it's because I have nothing going on.
Also, I have slight ADHD, so like staying on a single topic for any given amount of time is a struggle. Maybe you've seen how I am like watching shows. I can't sit down and watch a show more than 40 minutes.
We started watching Tokyo Revengers, and
we got like an episode.
He would just ask questions, and Ryan and I would be like. It's this. They told us like last episode.
No, that's not true. That happened once or twice. It happened twice.
It happens more than it should because Luke sits on his phone a lot. But you sit on your phone more than me. Yeah. I think more of your focus is on your phone because like and I understand like it's hard to like focus on something like all the time. But I think part of it might be I think we're on different spectrums of that. I think I might be more of a OCD type. So maybe I think I just drill in on certain things.
You do.
And then
you can sit down and just work for an hour and just like get your shit done.
Yeah.
If you were to give me the same assignment, it would probably take 2.5 hours, just because I'd get distracted by like little things. Like
that's the thing. It's not any like difference in our like working speed or our ability. It's all just approach.
Yeah, it's all approach, 100%.
I think it's because my approach has always been so I tell people I think that I'm lazier in my approach than most people.
Yeah.
Just because I get my stuff done so early. And it sounds weird.
No,
it's
that makes sense.
But it's because my entire approach for getting stuff done so early is so I can slack off and do nothing the rest of the day, right? So like that's why I've never been a procrastinator.
Mm-hmm.
It's because I don't want to be doing this thing, so I'll get it done now so I can just hang out the rest of the day.
Yeah.
But I guess you can make the argument for laziness on either spectrum though. But
yeah. Because the question then comes in, like, okay, you did all the stuff you were supposed to do, and okay, let's say you work a Monday through Friday. You get all your work done on Tuesday. What are you doing Wednesday through Friday? You're just sitting around.
Most of the time, yeah.
Most of the time.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I've been trying to get better at that.
You're definitely better than last year. So we're only 2 weeks in, but you're a lot better than you were.
I think my mindset is just very different.
Yeah.
My grind set is different.
Okay.
But
Sigma male.
Part of that came from one trying to read more. And actually, I know we've brought it up a lot, and I don't want to just like think like I don't want people to think we're just riding off coattails. But honestly, listening to Jocko podcast, great podcast. If you haven't heard it, I don't know why you're listening to other podcasts.
Don't listen to us. Go listen to Jocko.
Jocko should have been your first stop on podcast like land. But he's great.
Do you listen to anything else?
Podcast wise, so we've talked about this. We'll both listen to Joe Rogan if he has an interesting guest on that we already care about.
Yeah.
But like, no, I don't listen. I've never been a big podcast guy because there's not many opportunities for me. Like for me, Jocko's been when I'm tired. I'm going to the gym or like lifting sometimes.
Yep.
But now that I'm lifting with you, it's more music.
Yeah.
But like typically it'd just be when I was driving back and forth long distances.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen often.
I typically listen to mine on walks. So now that I'm going to... Sorry, got a little burp going on. But now that I'm walking
That's disgusting, Luke. That's disgusting.
Oh no, coffee burp. But no, now that I'm walking the campus 30 minutes to an hour every day, just back and forth, I've got time just to throw on a podcast, listen to half of it, and then the next day I'll be able to finish it.
What are you listening to? Because you don't listen to Jocko as much as I do.
No, Jocko I listen to clips just because there's a lot of... I don't know. I need some entertainment. Jocko just kind of gets me in the mood to like get stuff done.
That's why I just listen because I think your base motivation is higher than mine.
Maybe.
Or
that might have switched recently.
Let's say like last year, for example, your base motivation was far higher than mine. Like you wouldn't sit there and play video games for a day on end.
But how much of that is just like my ADHD kicking in and being like, okay, what's something else you can do?
That's true.
But I've always been like that. I'll play a video game for an hour and I'm just like, okay, I'm having a ton of fun, but there's something going on over there. I'm gonna go check that out.
You're like a dog.
Kind of.
You see a squirrel and you don't want to play games anymore. Right?
Essentially.
But yeah, I think definitely before at least let's say last year your base motivation was higher. So that's why I felt the need.
Well, it wasn't even motivation. I think it was just, okay, here's the schedule that I built for myself, and to do the stuff I need to do in the day, I need to do everything on the schedule.
Well, I think the big difference, because we both get our stuff done. Yeah. I think the biggest difference between us though is that you find more stuff to do after you've done. That's
not necessarily true.
I'd say you like if we both have finished working out, finished going to class, finished all our work, I think you are more inclined to go out and find something to do than I am.
Or like I'll clean the house, or I'll do some little stuff. I don't know, go hang out with people.
It's harder for you to be still, I'd say.
Yeah.
Right.
But it's also just harder for me to focus on anything, so I can't just like sit here, be in my thoughts, and just think.
That's true.
I can't.
Maybe you should do that more before you start arguing with me. Typically, maybe so we wouldn't have so many arguments.
The arguments on so fast. You want me to come into an argument with you with zero prep time while you're over there with hours of prep time, and you want me to formulate a cohesive argument just on the spot. I can't do that.
I expect better. Look, I have high expectations for you.
Sorry, sir.
But
sorry, C-man. Oh wait, soon to be Seaman.
Well, no, I won't. That's enlisted.
That's enlisted. Oh, wait,
Soon to be ensign.
Ensign.
Ensign. That's what it is.
Cool.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Cool.
Hopefully. I'm not trying to create any stolen valor issues here. I'm not claiming I am a service member or anything.
Yes.
I just
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
But
Finish the mile and a half time.
Running so hard. I've been trying to cut down. I've
You're
lost.
better than what you were though. I remember last year we went on a run, and it was just a mile, and it was hard to run with you.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it was hard to run with you.
Yeah. Well, you were running with your girlfriend, so.
No, that was one time. There was a time before
We only
that.
ran once together.
We did a couple times.
Did I block it out? Was it so traumatic for me that I just
I've
blocked it
got a
out?
video of our fun. We're both running shirtless, and I sent it to somebody in our a couple friends. And
Oh, wow,
I'm
okay.
like, who would have thought Dave out here running? Because before last year, you were so anti-cardio.
Yeah, and I didn't. I guess you didn't need. And I think that's kind of the nice thing is, I've found more of a drive, more of a purpose in a way for what I'm doing.
There's
right?
an end goal now.
Right. Before it was like, oh, I'm running because maybe it's good for me.
Yeah.
That was my entire
I
motivation.
felt like you ran just because your dad was running so much.
That was
like you
that
saw
was
your
what it
dad
was.
out running like 10 miles every day or something
Yeah.
ridiculous, and you're just kind of like, I want to try that.
Yeah, it was kind of that. It was kind of like, oh, I know it's healthy, like I know it's good for me. But I don't think that works for me. I don't think the approach of, oh, I know it's healthy and it's probably good for me, like, what does exactly the trick? Like for me,
Yeah.
I think it's having that end goal is the important thing.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to like that motivation thing, or like
like base motivation.
or like let's just say the drive to go and do something else. I think that's kind of the biggest change I've had since the summer. It's making that decision, like starting running. It's having that kind of deciding that I should be filling my time more effectively.
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be I would wake up, work out, go to class, and then just do nothing the rest of the day. I would think in my mind, I got my stuff done. I don't need to do anything else. Now it's like, oh, I got my stuff done. I wouldn't say I'm still like I wouldn't say I'm trying to fill my free time a lot. But I'd say I'm planning more stuff out from the get-go. Or I'm planning out a workout.
You're planning out your week ahead
right.
of time.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm planning out a workout, class, MMA, reading, piano.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to fill my time better, and I think that's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
Because video games were they've never been his vice, but
No.
they've been a big issue for me. I wouldn't say it's like as bad as something. Like I don't want it to seem like it's like insanely extreme.
Yeah.
But it was bad. It was not healthy.
It was. There were times where I would leave for class at like 9 in the morning. Okay, Dave would be up playing a game. Okay, I would go through class, go eat lunch, go back to class, work, come back around like 4 p.m. Dave is still playing the same game. And I would ask him, I'm like, hey, have you done anything else? I got into class. He's like, no, I've just eaten today. It's like, dude, you've been on that game for like 10 hours and you've eaten once. Are you okay?
Well, what we did actually last week was kind of similar though. Since it was before we started class, Luke and I woke up at like 5-6 a.m. went to a workout, ate, sat around, and then we're like, all right, it's about time for lunch now.
Yeah.
Ate. Dinner time, we'd eat, and then we'd go to MMA. So
because we didn't have anything else to do.
that's kind of the hard thing is when
when you don't have like structure of like a job or a school to fill that time, what are you doing a day? Like seriously, like nothing. Like what do you do when you retire?
play golf.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah, you could do that all day.
Dude, I'm so excited to retire.
That's why I don't think I'm gonna like be the type to like. I don't think if I had the chance with like the money to like retire at like 40, I don't think I'd do it.
I would retire and work on a passion project.
Like, it'd have to be a passion project that like is time consuming. It'd have to be like your own business or something.
Yeah, you would open up your own business. That's what I'm
I'd
talking
do
about,
that.
passion project.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of why like. I can't imagine people who are like, oh, I have so much money, I'm going to retire like 35. I'm like, dude, you have double your lifetime still.
Yeah.
Like, how... I don't get people who are so content with being completely complacent, because like I said, I was really bad on the day.
They want to rush towards the finish line. Then what's after the finish line?
That's the thing. What are
you gonna do? Like, go on vacation?
I think
50 weeks out of the year.
I think there's an ill-defined finish line. I don't think it's them rushing towards the finish. I think it's them like not defining the finish line correctly. I'd say that's more the issue, because to some people they're like, oh, the finish line is finishing my career and retiring.
Yeah.
Some people it's like, oh, the finish line is like providing for my family, something like that. You know. So I think it just depends on where you place that finish line.
Yeah. I think for a lot of people it's just earning enough money, and then once they have the money that they need, they stop. They stop what they're doing.
Do you think that's more of a people who didn't come from money, like? I'm sure there's a correlation there.
That's hard because most people don't get to that point. Most people don't get to the point where they're just like, okay, I've got $5 million in the bank. I am just going to do absolutely nothing now. I will invest most of this, and I will just live off of that money. Mm-hmm. Most people don't get there. Most people don't even get close to there.
But I'm saying more like, do you think that's more of like based on how you grew up, like?
Which aspect of it,
like making that goal, because like,
no, like making the
because
goal,
people who had money as kids, right? People whose families had money as kids. I'm sure like that. I'm sure there's heavy correlation.
They want to imitate their parents' lifestyle.
Well, I was saying the opposite. So I was saying they'd be more focused on self-actualization, like personal development, more than like just attaining money, right? Because they
depends. It really depends.
I guess there's a mixture because I feel like those two are opposing forces. Mm-hmm. On one hand, you had a lot, therefore maybe you had enough, therefore you didn't have to worry about money, therefore it's not as much of a goal. But on the other hand, maybe you had a nice lifestyle and you want to get back, like you don't want to be less than that. But that's kind of my thing. I used to care a lot about money and be like, I want to work as much as I can just so I can be rich, right? Yeah. But now it's more of like, if I can live like I do now, like what my parents have given me, I will be more than happy. Like
you spend no money ever.
Yeah.
But I really don't either. Like currently, if I were to make a salary of like $20K a year, and it's just like me, and then like a significant other, I think it would be okay. Because I'm not an extravagant person.
Is it 20,000?
Yeah.
I don't know if you'd be okay.
I mean, I spend less than that now.
Yeah, but like I feel like, so you're assuming no kids, right?
I'm assuming, just like baseline, no kids.
Are you assuming your significant other is pulling in money, or is just you? I don't think 20,000. I don't think 20,000 is sufficient.
With how it's working now, no, I get no help.
I don't think 20,000 would be enough.
Okay,
no.
so let's break this down a little bit. So rent's $600, right?
Depends.
Well, okay, I'm just going off of like an average of some sort.
Of like here, because
So
you want to live with your significant other and two other people, because you're providing for your significant other, correct? Because you're assuming no income.
Or it's just like a 1-bedroom place.
I guess
so
maybe
it's a 1-bedroom apartment, $600.
Okay.
Whatever.
So
which isn't too unreasonable for where we live.
So I mean that alone
is.
Let's say add on 100 for utilities a month.
Sure. So 700. Yeah.
So that alone is 8,400 a year.
Yeah.
That's almost half.
Yeah. Well, what else am I going to spend it on?
Food.
Okay, so food. It's $80 a week. It's generous, right? Pull the calculator.
$80 a week.
Times 52.
$4,000.
$4,000 a year. Okay, you got food covered.
Okay. So now that's what now $12,000 deleted. So you got about $8,000 to work with.
Yeah. You have food and housing, electrical.
Insurance.
Insurance is a lot. I have no idea what it is.
I have no idea. I don't pay for my insurance.
Yeah, we're not old enough for that yet.
But like you, I feel like you're not living like comfortably though. No, don't get me wrong. I think you can survive. I feel like $20,000 is enough to survive. But
what I'm saying is like when you don't have any kids and you're by yourself, you can do whatever.
If you're living as a bachelor, I completely agree with $20,000. But as soon as you throw that significant other, I don't think that $10,000 is enough for two people. Like $10,000 a single person, I don't.
Yeah,
think
but
that's
like
enough.
if you're splitting a lot of that stuff, like as in like rent, you're splitting, food, you're splitting, kind of.
What do you mean you're splitting? No, because you said you were assuming
you add on food.
I think you were saying that your significant other doesn't bring in money.
They don't bring in, but they split. So like, you're not paying for rent. You're not paying $600 per. So
yeah.
You're just having that one payment,
right?
Which you would normally pay anyways if you were a bachelor.
But I think having half your money deleted, more than like, assuming using our current assumptions, more than half your money deleted through just food and housing.
What else do you need? You have food and housing. Okay, so you can survive now. Everything else is just...
No, don't get me wrong. I think survival, maybe, yeah. It's like...
Yeah.
Well, like...
Dave, we're out here surviving.
I think...
If I'm surviving, I'm happy.
We're thriving. We're thriving.
Yeah, but, like, exactly. And what are your biggest expenses? Food and rent.
I guess, but, like, I guess you're just leaving, like, nothing for, like, you know, living life.
Well, what do you need to live life?
Okay.
Beers on the weekend?
Wait, you're assuming that you only spend $10 a day on food? 2 people?
Like, I'm talking, like, groceries, yeah. So, like, specifically, like, groceries.
So you're assuming each person only needs $5? I don't know. I think it's too complicated for us to
I'm just
assume.
going off of, like... We can move on to something else.
Yeah. But, I mean... I think that... I mean, without... trying to sound as grateful, but also not as privileged as I can.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. I think it'd be hard for me, especially, to, like, live kind of like a very minimalistic life. Don't get me wrong, I don't live like a I'm not living like a lavish life.
You live minimalist right now. What are you talking about?
I guess, but
I'm crazy. We have a TV that's from like 2005.
But
we are fine.
but I think like I think part of it is maybe not having the things.
Yeah.
Maybe not having those materialistic things, but having the ability to have them if you want to, right? Like right now, like what we have, we could go out if we wanted to. Go buy a shirt. That shirt looks nice. I want it.
Yeah.
Buy it right now.
Yeah.
With that amount of money, you're worried more. Right?
Yeah, you're definitely worried, but like it keeps you a little disciplined. It makes you think, okay, do I need that thing? Because once you have the money just to go out and buy, I feel like it's gluttonous a little bit, right?
I mean, I guess you could argue everything is gluttonous, right? Like
everything that you don't need, anything that's
which I don't think is like a good argument, because I think that to be healthy, people need more than just to survive.
Yeah.
I think that.
But do they need to be material things?
I think there's a benefit.
Is there value in?
I think luxuries in terms of like materials, I think do have value in terms of like people's like mental well-being, like their like overall like.
Yeah, for some people, and this is completely.
Yeah, subjective. Some people might be happier.
This
without
is completely subjective. Like
right.
we're talking from personal experience.
And like I'm not saying that I need those things to live, or like that I even live with them right now, like at school. But like, I think having the means to get them if I wanted to, I think that security is nice, because otherwise I'm like even if I don't need it, you know what it's like.
We were going kind of extreme, like 20K is not a lot of money. It's not a lot of money at all. But you can make it work if you had to. And what's minimum wage? Minimum wage is $7.25. What can you make off of minimum wage per year? So $7.25 times.
Let's say 40-hour weeks.
50, yeah, 40 times 52. Let's just assume you work full time.
$15,000.
Okay, so
that's much higher than I thought it'd be.
Really?
Minimum wage, 40 hours a week.
Yeah.
That's higher than I expected. But
now there is an argument to be made that minimum wage might need to go up a little bit.
I don't want to get into that right now.
You know, purely based off of inflation, because it's been the same.
That's true.
For 12 years or something like that.
That's true. Based off that, I do agree. But
yeah.
But
I'm not talking anything like extreme. No $20.
No $15.
No, well, yeah, 15, $8.50, $9, 10 if we really want to push it.
Yeah, but well, my thing is, it's not even like, I don't want to like get political, or like I don't want to. It's just that I don't feel educated enough.
Yeah.
And we don't know what happened. You know,
I'm
we
just
don't.
talking from like a personal experience working at a small business, knowing how small businesses would like survive, and how I would personally spend money if I got more of it. I'm just kind of assessing all of that. So small businesses would die if we bumped it up to $15 and $20 an hour.
For sure, yeah. Easy.
And that's what kind of bigger corporations are doing right now. So they're kind of
maybe they're lobbying for that so they can push out small businesses.
I don't know if they're lobbying it, but they will be the first ones to move towards, okay, we are doing $14 an hour, $15 an hour, $60 an hour for their employees.
Are you just talking about creating that competition, or
you are creating competition?
Okay.
So these people that want a job and need a job will go to the place that gives them the most money for the least amount of skill. So if Walmart is offering you $15 an hour, and this retail store over here that's not a big company will offer you $10, where are you going to go? You're going to go $15 an hour. And you're starting to see this now. Places are struggling to find people to work for them.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the service industry, how that's done with COVID.
Yes, exactly. COVID's kind of highlighted everything. It's kind of, it made it obvious of like, okay, this is what's going on. This is how this is all working.
Yeah, exactly. So basically, how I viewed it, like from what you said, actually, when you're like, oh, it's like competition. They're paying more. They're pushing the small businesses out. How I viewed it is actually like poker.
Okay.
Right, like because like it's like people who have the most money, you can just raise it to an exorbitant amount. You don't have the money to play with, so you can't. If you don't have the money, you can't play. So that's kind of the thing. That's how I view it, and it's kind of, well, we're getting into bringing down capitalism, I guess, around here, but
bring down capital, yeah.
But I mean, like, I think that there's something to be said about like, I think both of us, I'm all for capitalism. I wouldn't say that. I think that I'm all for like a free markets, like all that, but I'm not for like. I think people always assume that when you say, "Oh, I'm pro free markets, pro capitalism, pro like without government intervention," I think people assume like, "Oh, you support corporations,"
no.
Which I don't. I think that a lot of corporations do like bad things that like I don't think are efficient. I don't think they're fair. I don't think they're keeping markets free. Mm-hmm. But I guess like what can you do? You know, like corporations.
At some point, you just gotta be like, okay, there's not much you can do.
Yeah.
Personally, if the government gets involved. But that, I don't know how is that fair that the government gets involved?
I really don't like government intervention in things.
You don't?
As much as not getting into political, like trying not to get political with it, but like I think that's right. Like I don't like
this topic's overly like political.
Yeah, I don't like I don't like big government. I don't like government being involved in things like too heavily.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same approach I take to this. It's like I don't think that, but at the same time, if someone's doing something bad, creating these negative externalities, I think that's what the government is meant to do. I think it's supposed to right wrongs in a way. And it's so hard to say in general like topics like that. Yeah. I think in this specific case, I do think that like government should have some kind of hand in fixing in saving like small businesses and things like that.
Oh, saving them.
Not saving. In preventing them from being just edged out, like and just like pushed out, right?
Yeah.
Like, but I don't know exactly because like the thing is none of this like I'm sure there's probably been there. I'm sure there's historical history of this, but I don't know it. You know, I don't know enough to make a stance on it.
I don't know enough either.
But
I'm just talking from personal perspective and what I've seen going on.
Because it's not like I'm not like personally involved with like small business. Like it's not like I like my family owns anything. Like, But I'm also like. I've never been. I don't like the sentiment that if you support free markets and capitalism, you're in support of big corporations. No, that's not a fair corollary there.
No, not at all.
But I think that it's hard because corporations like like the big ones. A lot of them are more powerful than governments. Like they're more powerful than like different governments in the world.
Like Amazon.
It's just
everybody's favorite corporation.
I mean, it's just a world that we gotta like live in, I guess.
Yeah, when do you think Amazon's gonna explode or take over?
You think they're gonna secede from the world and become their own company?
It could be their own country.
A country.
It could be their own country, right?
The Amazons. Only women. Only women.
Only females.
I mean,
only 6 foot tall, 180 pound muscular females. Nobody else.
Men dead.
They touch the island, decapitation immediately.
I mean, like I think that I don't know. It's hard to say. So my approach to everything. If you've made it this far, thank you. But my approach. This is my approach to life in general. Is life is how it is. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to keep living. You have to play the game. Yeah. You have to play the game, and I think that it's fair. I've always thought it's fair for people to no, I wouldn't say complain. Complain's a bad word. I think it's fair for people to criticize, and I support people criticizing things. There's a lot of things that are wrong. There's a lot of things that shouldn't be. There's a lot of things that should be. I support people trying to change them, trying to fix that. Mm-hmm. But you still have to play the game. You still have to do your job. You still have to provide. You still have to make your money.
Yeah.
Right? Like I don't think maybe I don't like business, or maybe I don't like what I'm doing, or maybe I don't even think what I'm doing is like completely correct.
Yeah.
Like maybe I don't support the corporations in general.
Mm-hmm.
But if you want to survive, if you want to provide for your family,
Yeah, you have to play the game.
you have to play the game. And it's like it sucks to say that, but at the same time, it's like
It's the world we live in.
I think that people who just complain and don't actually take steps to play the game, still provide. I don't like that approach. I don't say anything bad about people like that, but I don't think that's a healthy approach.
Oh, it's
I think it's just as bad. I think it's just as bad as doing nothing.
yeah,
Because like
you might be doing worse than nothing.
yeah.
Because not only are you not doing it, you're criticizing the system, and you have a lot of self-pity.
Yeah.
You feel like, okay, everything's against me, the world's not for me.
It's a victim mentality.
You get some of the victim mentality going on, and is that worse than doing nothing? Are you going backwards?
I think it's way worse. Yeah. I think complaining about things without trying to fix them.
Yeah.
Trying to fix them.
If you're just like, oh, this is how it is, and this is how
Yeah.
it will be forever.
But you have to balance trying to fix them and also just going along with the system. Like, I'm not saying you have to go along with things you don't agree with. I think speaking out against things you don't agree with, or like speaking your mind, I think that's great. That's what this country is built on.
It's part of to say we live in an awesome country where we can say the things and express the things that we believe in.
But at the same time, it's like if you're A, not trying to change the things you're complaining about, or B, not just like not doing what you need to be, right? Like it's if you're not, I guess that's how I wanted to put it. I was struggling to find words, but actually doing what you need to, in terms of like providing, or like doing your duty, right? Like something may be wrong, but you still have to do your job.
Have to do it.
Do your job.
Have to show up to work.
Yeah, and it's kind of, I don't know. I guess I have an issue with, I guess, the culture these days, where it's like it seems like it's, some people think it's enough just to talk.
Just to talk.
Just to talk. Just to complain. Just to.
We're just talking. We've been talking and complaining this entire podcast.
And we're doing nothing to fix it. We're just sitting here. Oh no. We went full circle and we condemned ourselves. Oh. I think that podcasts, people who do podcasts, should be exiled.
Should be exiled. I mean, at the very least, we're creating entertainment for.
Are we?
For somebody.
Is it just for us?
Or maybe we're just getting people really mad.
I mean, I have heard from one or two people that do listen.
Yeah.
Shout out. That we sometimes will be debating something, and they'll feel like they want to speak their mind, which I'm happy about.
I've heard that exact same thing. That they're a little frustrated at us because we're not saying the things that they think should be said.
Which is nice.
Or they have a unique idea that they want to throw out.
It's kind of the opposite of that the thing where it's continue.
I was going to say maybe we could, like, I don't know, if you comment on our video, we might respond to your comment.
That's true. We could start doing some community interaction.
Ooh.
I think that it's kind of almost the opposite of that internet anonymity kind of thing. Where it's like people are like, oh, you face no consequences for what you say because you're anonymous.
Yeah.
It's kind of opposite. We're like people know who we are, but like we're putting out it's a one-way stream of communication right now.
Mm-hmm.
We can say whatever we want, no consequences.
Say it. Say something.
No, I can't.
Say something.
Like there are consequences, but at the same time, it's like, like not direct. We could post this and just bury our heads in the sand. Mm-hmm. And then people would be like you don't disagree with
post
us?
and ghost.
Yeah, post and ghost.
Yeah, you post it and then you just leave everything on red. Like, no comments, no texts, no emails. Just kind of close your eyes.
Yeah. I think that podcasts do things for people though.
Yeah.
I think that each podcast serves its purpose. I think, for example, Rogan. I think it's great for like exposing people to new things. Like new,
yes, he's
that's
done a great
that's
job.
that's what I think he does the best with, because he has such a diverse cast on his podcast.
Yeah.
Jocko, I think, has done a lot for dedicate like
motivation, dedication, being accountable,
improving your life.
Yeah. But circling back to like podcasts I listen to Joe every now and again. Jocko, I listen to some clips. Most of my stuff that I listen to is MMA podcast. So I'll just listen.
So do you listen to the Rogan MMA ones, or?
Some depends who he has on. There's some people. I don't.
You want to call someone out? You want to challenge them?
No, it's just people that don't have fluent English that he brings on, it's hard to listen to the podcast. It really is.
Who aren't like the big ones? Like Mayweather's like actually well spoken, right? Somewhat.
Mayweather?
Is he?
He's a boxer.
Is he the one that like couldn't read, like got in the head?
Supposedly.
Oh.
I don't know.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know if we're propagating misinformation
We
or
might be
anything like
propagating misinformation.
that.
Conor McGregor, in their build up to their fight, said, "What are you doing with a school bag? You can't even read."
Actually,
do your best Conor McGregor accent. Do you have one?
Super
Irish.
My best impression is from that one ad where they were talking about their fastest knockouts. 14 seconds. That's my fastest knockout.
That's Australian.
That's what it sounded like. Okay, you can search. I can't remember what the game was, but it was like it was Ronda Rousey, Mike Tyson, and Conor McGregor talking about their fastest knockouts, and it was like 8 seconds. That's my fastest knockout. And then Conor was like 14 seconds. That's my fastest knockout. 14.
That's so Australian.
I will show you the clip later, and
Okay.
I will verify.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, speaking of, Luke's been trying to show me more MMA. I'm not really a sports guy.
Yeah.
I know, like, I think people maybe assume that I'm like off a first glance, not after you know me.
Yeah.
But I'm just not a sports guy.
I'm the same way. I played all sports in high school: football, wrestling, track, baseball. But I don't watch any of them now. The only sport I can watch is MMA, and it's I don't know, because all fights are different, and I think that's what I love about it. Because in a soccer match or a football game, your two teams go at each other. Their goal is to get the pigskin, the football, to the other end of the field. That is the entire goal of football. MMA,
Anything goes.
anything goes. Head kick. Head kick. Knockouts, submissions, decisions, disqualifications. Nuts.
I think that MMA. So I'm different. So he's the kind of guy that like you would expect to be into sports because he played so many.
Yeah.
I just played tennis.
Yeah.
Which honestly is the only it's the only sport like I think I used to watch somewhat. And then I didn't even watch it like regularly. It was like if I knew someone
Like
I'd
there's
always
like
watch.
a big tournament going on.
Yeah, and it was if it was on the TV I would watch it.
Yeah.
Right, but I'm just not typically a sports guy. Like I don't know. I feel like this is gonna make people mad. I think basketball is abysmally boring to watch.
I agree.
Dude, I
completely agree.
I think we just lost every.
I think we lost all of our viewers.
Yeah, all of our viewers, especially the people at our school.
Yeah.
Indiana is a basketball. Didn't basketball start here? Wasn't basketball invented in Indiana?
In Indiana.
Yeah, so basketball is kind of big here.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate. I forget the dude's name, but do you know how they used to play it?
No.
You had a peach basket, okay?
Right.
And you would tie it up high, and I think they had some sort of ball. It wasn't a basketball; those weren't invented yet. But the goal was just to get the ball in the peach basket, and after you scored, there was still a bottom. After you scored, somebody would have to walk up some stairs and like get like a broom to get the ball out, and then you continue to play.
So it's looking at. Apparently, it's Springfield, Massachusetts. That's where official basketball. I think started. I don't know
Like
if
the
like
game?
yeah. I don't know if
Maybe what's the?
I could have
what's the
sworn it was
dude's name?
Indiana.
What's the dude's name?
Naismith.
Oh, it is Naismith.
James Naismith.
Yeah, it is James Naismith.
So it says Massachusetts. I could have swore it was Indiana.
Maybe our teachers just lied to us.
We've been indoctrinated into the best.
Maybe he's been to like Indiana once.
Oh yeah.
He taught at Indiana for a year.
Or he stopped by like driving through the state or something.
Kind of like how we claim that Lincoln is from Indiana. Do you know that?
I know we claim that, but what's the truth behind that?
Well, he stayed here for like a couple years, like during his early childhood.
I think Indiana.
As he moved over to Illinois.
I think Indiana's just like looking for anything to latch onto.
Dude,
like,
what do we have? What does Indiana have? What are we known for?
What do we have? I think we are known for basketball.
We are known for basketball.
Corn.
Even though.
But Idaho does corn, but wait, they do potatoes.
They do potatoes.
Iowa? I don't even think we're like the top corn people.
We're not. We're too small.
What does Indiana do?
We have.
We had Peyton Manning. But wasn't he not even? Where was he from?
I think he played college in Tennessee.
So I didn't even know who do we have.
Or was it Texas?
I think it's Tennessee. But I guess we had like Peyton Manning.
But then he left.
Yeah.
To go to the Broncos.
Do we have anyone from Indiana?
Anyway, cool.
Oh, I think Oppenheimer.
Oh, the creator of Garfield.
Yeah, Jim Davis.
Jim Davis.
So we had back in actually that's crazy you brought that up.
Yeah.
In middle school we had this like famous Hoosiers thing.
Yeah.
Where we were all dressed up as famous Hoosiers. I was Jim Davis.
You were Jim Davis.
I was Jim Davis. I'm
So, but did you just come in like? How did you dress up?
I don't remember.
Did you have like a dress shirt and pants, and you had like a paintbrush?
No, I don't remember how I dressed. I don't know. Maybe I had a Garfield sticker or something. I don't know. I don't remember though. But I do remember I was Jim Davis.
Okay.
The Garfield guy.
I don't think we had a day like that. Are there any big sports people from Indiana?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning.
I mean,
Well,
also, like we said,
played
we're
for
also not big sports guys,
Yeah.
so we wouldn't really know. But
Anybody else cool from Indiana? Jim
Us.
Davis is the only us.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're high on that list. Everybody knows who we are.
Hopefully,
Oh,
we can make an Indiana-specific podcast. Just talk about cornhole.
oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, it's cornhole. Not
It's
tennis.
cornhole, by the way.
It's cornhole.
What else is there? Aren't there like different like there are very like there's a lot of arguments I think even just between like Indiana and like our sister Illinois. You know, like I think Indiana's
Sister. Big sister. Illinois is
little
bigger.
sister.
Illinois is bigger than
We're
Indiana.
more mature though.
Were we founded first?
I assume so. We're in the east.
1816?
We're in the east, right?
Yeah. I know Indiana was founded in 1816. IU was founded in 1820, which is kind of cool.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's
4 years
old.
after.
Illinois was 1818.
Oh, so we beat them.
So we beat them. We're their older brother.
Yeah.
But
Come back for more state facts. So
where do we even start? Where were we? What's the last like topic we were
Cool
on?
people from Indiana.
Right.
Before that? Or?
Before that,
Oh gosh.
I guess sports.
MMA. Sports.
Yeah, so I've been trying to
From
get
MMA to sports to cool people from Indiana.
So going off the sports thing, I have kind of a belief is that I don't care about the athletes themselves,
Oh, why?
or the team.
Okay, no. We started with basketball and your hate for basketball.
Right.
Go back
I don't know if it's a hatred.
Okay,
it's a dislike.
Dislike? Not interested?
I think I dislike it so much because Indiana's so into it. I think I wouldn't dislike it as much if it wasn't the only thing that people around here talked about. Like you know, like every single time, if someone who's into basketball will let you know within like the first like few minutes. They'll be talking to someone about it, you know. And I think that I wouldn't dislike it so much if it wasn't always brought up.
What it is for me is that they have so many games.
It's so high scoring. That's the issue.
And it's so high scoring, and a lot of the games just end up becoming okay. You play what 15-minute halves, I think, or is it quarters?
I would not know.
Okay, anyways, the game doesn't really matter until the last couple minutes.
Yeah.
So you're sitting at that whole beginning, and none of it matters. None of it matters at all because it's always down to okay. There's a 3-point difference between the two scores, and there's 30 seconds left. Who's gonna be the star at the end of the game? Blah blah blah.
Yeah,
like, literally none of the scores before that matter. Like not at all.
And then you got soccer on the other side of the spectrum, which is just
Too
like
low scoring.
like where it's like
That's why football's nice. Like American football.
I was about to say football. I do think has my favorite like scoring like tempo. You know, they're the best tempo. Like if they get a touchdown, that is like hype because you're like, oh, that's a lot of points. That's
a lot of effort. It's a lot of points.
Yeah.
It's a lot of time.
But at the same time, it's not like in soccer. If you score a goal, you've probably won.
Yeah.
like especially early. If you score a really early goal, you're pretty set up.
Yeah. If you're winning 21-0 by halftime in football, the other team could easily come back.
Didn't the Patriots come back from like a 21-0 something like in one of the Super Bowls?
I don't know if it was
recently?
21-0, but they were down pretty bad.
It was like at least 2 touchdowns or something. And like that's the thing. There's comeback potential, which I also think MMA interests me because there is that comeback. Because like
it's so fun.
you can just hit a lucky shot and just knock the other guy out.
Yeah, you could be the heavy underdog and just have a mean right hook right to the jaw.
I think
Lights out.
I think maybe me and you, it comes from a more animalistic kind of gladiator enjoyment.
For you, maybe.
What's your enjoyment? You like it as a science?
Kind of.
Really?
I think the science behind like how well conditioned the athletes are, how well some people can take a punch and other people can't take a punch, how hard people can throw, their shots. The technique behind like the wrestling and jiu-jitsu is always fun and interesting. But most people are there for the knockouts, and the knockouts are.
I'm there for the knockouts.
They're the most exciting part.
Because, like, I think that this is going to be maybe my stance on our society, but I think everyone will agree our society's softer than any. I think our society's softer than any society before us. Our culture.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say. Like don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everyone. Like special forces, for example, they're probably the toughest people that have ever lived. Tougher than any. Like
I think softer people just have a better mode of letting you know that they're out there. Like,
softer people are it's more accepted to be soft because you can talk about it.
Yeah, you can talk about it more.
And there's factors about being soft that like are almost like praised. Like not being confrontational or not being argumentative. Well, I don't think those are good. I'm not saying those are good things. But I'm saying soft as in like maybe being meek. Being meek is almost like a virtue these days because it's like
meek versus like aggression is a virtue, right?
Yeah, like which both have issues with, but like
yeah,
I think it's leaning so much more on the soft side.
Yeah,
like I mean like just obesity rates. That number alone, boom, argument like kind of made for the soft.
For the soft, yeah.
Yeah.
But okay, yeah, that's a big problem.
Yeah.
But that's another thing too. There's just so much shit in the food that we eat, and people don't know it. People just like, for lunch I'm gonna grab a burger from McDonald's today. I'll be okay.
700 calories, boom, down the hatch.
Down the hatch. Yeah.
What was it bringing up in terms of people being soft? Oh yeah. So I think that since our culture's so soft, I think that like people I think that's why it's like combat sports have been growing.
Oh.
Because it's big because like there's so much and don't get me wrong, I'm softer than anyone else was than all of my ancestors, all my parents. Like I'm softer than them. But
your parents have a unique story though.
Yeah, my which we can't get into for government reasons.
For legal reasons.
I'm softer, but like I think that's why I enjoy it. It's because like I see people like doing like
you can appreciate the amount of time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears.
You're living like vicariously through them in a way.
Yeah,
you know?
just for that athlete, that fighter to be in that cage, they have gone through a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then like once you actually see it like unfold, it's really cool to see that.
I think that's why people respect like SEALs, for example, so much because you know how much they train, you know how much suffering they had to go through just to like get there, just to even qualify to be one.
Yeah.
And then what they do when they're in. You know, like I think that's why people have so much respect for them.
But also they've become popularized recently.
I think it was not too recent. It was after Bin Laden.
Was it after Bin Laden? That's recent enough.
Bin Laden was the catalyst for like the pop culture.
Yeah, because 20 years ago people didn't know the SEALs existed.
Yeah.
Which is
like I think the first time I heard of SEALs was SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
Bin Laden. I think that was my first encounter with that.
Because I never thought of like special forces being different from just the actual. But I was ignorant. Like I'm a kid when all this stuff.
I also think as a kid, most kids don't know. Like most kids don't keep up unless you're like a kid who like likes military.
I just assumed everybody in the military
was an army or was a soldier.
Was a soldier, yeah, and they all did the same stuff.
Yeah.
Essentially, or they could all potentially do the same stuff.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily true.
It's not even close to true. Yeah. And like there's so much difference in what's in the ranks. But I think that going back to that, I think it is like a living vicarious. Like you're like because when I see like team guys or like I listen to Jocko or I watch like fighters, I'm like I wish I could be like half of like that.
Yeah.
Like what they are. You know, it's like I mean I think that's kind of the same thing with.
But fighters are unique though.
Yeah. Because I don't envy their lifestyle.
Yeah, nobody chooses to be a fighter.
Yeah.
That's last case. They're literally fighting for survival, and they just happen to be good at it.
Yeah.
No one wakes up and was like, okay, I want to be punched in the face every day for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants that. And even the fighters that do claim that they like that, they fight until they're 35, and then they're done. They're done forever. Well, one, because they're not competitive anymore. Two, it's a hard lifestyle.
That's why I think it's less of kind of like. I mean, I wasn't alive during this time, but like you know, like the whole rockstar thing, right? Like 80s, like the rockstar lifestyle used to be like that was what people looked at, like the celebrities.
Have you ever wanted that? Have you not even like a rock star, but like a celebrity?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, sometimes I still kind of like.
I've never had that ever.
I used to like no, my priorities have changed these like past few years, but I used to. But that's why I think it's a different like motivation, I guess, right? Because before maybe it's like, oh, I want to live this lavish lifestyle, I want to party, I want to do hard drugs, you know, like that was that was what like people like maybe like people like sought after. I'm not making that claim, but like I'm saying that's possibly what people found attractive was that like crazy lifestyle. But I think
you got to go up on stage, sing great songs. Which, by the way, how boring would that get? You create a one-hit wonder, or like you create like an awesome album. And then for the next 20 years, next 20, 30, 40 years, you have to play the same 4 to 5 songs on repeat.
I'd argue that a lot of artists now still have to do that.
That's what I'm saying. How terrible is that?
Yeah.
Like how I would be sick of my song after a year of playing
like
the same.
I know, for example, what is it? You know, I chime in with it. What was that song? Closing a dead door, no.
Oh, is that
I write sins, not tragedies.
Fall Out Boy?
Is it? I write sins, not tragedies, right? What? Panic at the Disco.
Panic at the Disco.
I know, like them, for example, like they like. I think it's like they like hate performing this song because like that's like their number one song. And I
some artists just won't do it. Like Kanye, I know he's going on this spiritual rap now, but he will not play any of his older music. Once he's finished a new album, that's what he sticks to.
And I think it's hard to pull the trigger on that, but I think it's more respect. Like it builds more respect among people because it's kind of like you're not just recycling. Like
you're not the same person that you were a couple years ago, a handful of years ago, whatever it may be.
But I think part of the reason that the kind of let's say admiration for like different like types of people has changed. One is because I think probably that like realities kind of come out. Where the reality is, oh, you have to be on the road all the time and sing the same song over and over. So people know that now. Yeah. They're like, I don't really want to do that.
Does the same thing also apply to comedians? Do comedians?
Comedians do the same sets. I think they definitely do repeat jokes.
Yeah.
But I think that like.
But they're always working on new jokes.
Yeah.
They work on new jokes.
Well, I mean, so do artists. I guess they work on new music.
Yeah. But comedians don't go back to their old stuff, do they?
No,
all good ones don't. Good ones don't, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. No one wants a comedian to repeat his jokes from like his last year's
special. Because you've heard it once. You know the punchline. You know why it's funny.
But music, they're expected to play it because everyone wants to hear it because that's the one song they know.
Yeah, they know the song. Nothing's worse than going to a concert and not knowing any of the music.
Yeah.
Even if it's a band that you like and they just start playing new stuff and you're just kind of like, yeah, this is cool, but I don't know what's going on.
I think I like one new thing. Like when they're at the end, they're like, "Here's a song from our new album that hasn't been released." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, that's cool.
But most of the time, I want to sing
the entire 2.5 hour concert, and you're just kind of like, ugh, gonna go home.
But I think like kind of bringing it back to I think that the admiration is different. One, because their lifestyle's more fleshed out. People know more. It's more transparent. But also because I think that it is more like what we admire more. Right? It's weird because like it's almost like. Like, what was it? Is it Jocko that says it's like discipline is freedom? Discipline equals freedom? Extreme ownership. But yeah, like he's like discipline.
He's got another book, right? Discipline equals freedom.
Is that what it was?
I think he's got another book.
Something like that. But it's something like discipline equals freedom, and I think it's a way like people.
You Jocko fanboy.
Yeah,
you're a Jocko.
I am a Jocko fanboy. But I think people like view it like it used to be like, oh, that crazy lifestyle is like what I want. But I think there's kind of a counter. I don't know. I feel like I'm throwing out these words like a counterculture almost in a way of like people viewing that kind of discipline as like something they seek after more because I think that it's so easy for people now to just be like gluttonous, be just like a degenerate, and just go out drinking. That's like that rock star lifestyle is the norm now. It's easy to do.
It's really easy to do.
So I think people now we kind of have transitioned away. I wouldn't say everyone, but a lot of people have transitioned away from admiring that lifestyle, that kind of crazy no boundaries lifestyle, and more to this lifestyle of like or more towards like admiring people who like just crazy discipline, just like do their job, do it well, don't do any like don't fall into any of the vices. I think that's more of the cultural shift.
For some people, that's definitely like a niche group. Not everybody will fall under that. I think a lot of people. I don't think everybody wants.
I wouldn't say everyone wants to, but I would say that a lot of that group doesn't even want to. Yeah. But I'd say they still admire it.
They admire it, yeah.
I don't know many people who like.
And I even see it within my friend group. Like, if I do happen to go out, like on a weekend, 21 by the way, so it all works out.
Both legal. 21.
We're legal. Okay. If I get a workout in before I go out with them, they're like all like super proud. Not proud, but they think it's cool that I was able to get something done and get after it before going out and having fun.
I'd say that's the perfect word. They think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like honestly, cool. they do. Like I think that's.
They're just like, hey, awesome. Glad you could make it though. Glad you're here. Cool that you did that, but glad you're here.
And it's kind of a shame that people will see that. They'll admire it. They'll respect it. They'll like really respect you for it. Mm-hmm. But they aren't willing to make that change. They see it as something good.
Yeah.
They see it as something positive.
Yeah. And
they know you're bettering yourself. But then they're like, oh well, that's not for me.
Not for me.
Not for me. You do you. It's kind of a shame. Like I get it's all personal. Like it comes from personal drive. But it's like.
But if you don't feel like you need to, why would you?
But I feel like how do you feel like you don't need to? Right? Like if I were to go out, I don't go out often.
Okay. So, you're working towards your goal. Like, okay, you're a college student. You want to get good grades, and once you get good grades, you can go to a career. Like get into a good job, follow that career path. Nowhere in that process does working out equate to getting a better career.
I guess people just don't see the value.
That they don't see the value. They're just like, okay, it's cool that you're doing it and that you're improving yourself, but for me, it's not helping with my end goal. Or that's what they think.
They think that.
They think that, yeah.
And it's a shame. I don't get how people don't view. Okay, like everything that working out does like helps with it. You're healthier, so you can you can live longer. You can do your end goal for longer
if you work out right.
If you work out right, yeah. I'm assuming all of this is done correctly, and you're not just like I don't know, like shoulder pressing behind here and like doing like.
You can do that.
No, Luke. Bad for your shoulders.
Why?
That's why you've got bad joints.
I've got great joints. But shoulders are amazing.
But like we're assuming that you're like working out right and like doing cardio, right? But
help the heart a little bit.
But the thing is like everything that like working out does is positive. It builds discipline. Mm-hmm. It boosts your like energy. You look better. So. Self-confidence is one thing. Yeah. The other thing is, people hate to admit it, and this might bring us down another rabbit hole for a bit, but attractive people run the world. I wouldn't say run the world, but attractive people have it easy.
That's okay. So I went down the rabbit hole on this a little bit, and I found a YouTube video that talked about that was ranking the types of privileges, and there was like white privilege, black privilege, mixed privilege, wealth privilege, and in like the S tier, it was attractive privilege.
I'd rather be if you were like, would you rather be ugly and have $100 million, or would you rather be attractive and have like minimum wage? I choose attractive any day. You know what? Because you can work, you can make more money.
Yeah.
There's only so much you can do with ugly.
And we're saying this as ugly males, by the way.
Yeah. we're not claiming we're the Chris's, the Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, Chris Evans,
the Chads and Badmouthing the world.
Yeah, like we're not claiming that, but like it's, I think it's foolish and naive to believe that being attractive doesn't give you an advantage, or that it's completely fair to everyone no matter what you look like.
Okay, yeah, because everything's based off of your first impression, right?
Yeah.
If people see you and think you're like attractive, they're gonna want to talk to you in some way. Whereas they're like, if you're not the best looking, they might not just talk to you. Like, you may be the most qualified person in that group of people when you're networking, but if they don't want to talk to you and you don't get to have that conversation, you don't get a job. You don't get the interview.
I think people view it as a qualifications rather than people don't realize that when people are, I'm not saying all people don't realize this, but a lot of people don't realize that when someone's hiring people, they don't want someone who's, they can come in here and kind of be weird, but like they get their job done. They want someone they can work with.
They want somebody they can grab a beer with.
Yeah, or like be on a team and like not hate talking to them.
Yeah.
And it's like, and being attractive it's not like just facially, which it is important. Like that is something that is a big factor. But like if someone's working out, like for example, I'm not saying like I'm not like a model or anything, but but I'm definitely more built now, like after lifting than I used to. I used to be like not even fat. I used to just be kind of like skinny fat, you know, and it's helped so much, not only just with my self confidence, but like when people look at you, they treat you differently.
Oh,
because
100%.
one is because it's more aesthetically pleasing to look at someone who lifts.
Yeah.
But two is because also it tells people a lot about you. Like it's just without like just non-verbally.
Without them saying a single thing, you already know that they have some sort of discipline to get up, to eat right, to work out, and then still be productive. Yeah. Like productive after the fact.
Yeah.
You learn so much.
That's why like most of my I'd say like my the people I get along with the best. I won't say like in terms of like closest friends. Like people I get along with the best are like people I have like the best conversations with, or like just like have most. I think the people I have the most in common with are all people who are like physically active. Yeah. Like or like something like that. Or like I think like
you
like
say that as a video game addict.
Yeah. But like me and you, I think we share a lot of the same values because we know like what it takes to. I wouldn't like we're not even like the most dedicated lifters, but like we know what it takes to like
to get
there. Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's just a shame that people don't recognize the value of it. You know.
I mean, it's hard. It's hard. I don't know what to say. Like, it also helps that maybe they just weren't around it. Maybe they don't understand.
I mean, I wasn't around it.
Well, in high school, once you started, you had a group of friends that wanted to go, and so you were surrounded by them who got you into it. And now it just feels like it has to be done.
But I guess it's like I don't understand how you can like look at someone who's like really in shape and attractive and then just be like, not for me. Like I don't know how people. I don't get how people can look at someone like that and be like, you know, that'd be nice, but I don't want it. What? How could you not want it?
Too much work, Dave.
How could you not want that? That'd be like all they want. Like that's all I wanted.
Okay, even beyond like the vanity portion of it, of like wanting to look better, it's just functional. Okay. There was a story a long time ago. World's Strongest Man. This is kind of like an extreme thing, but World's Strongest Man, Brian Shaw, won like 4 times in a row. He saw a car accident, and inside there were, I think, there were people inside. I don't know who they were, mother, kids, whatever it may be. He saw the car accident, and he ripped the door off of the car to help save their lives. Like he physically wouldn't open, wouldn't budge. He just ripped it off and saved all of their lives. Like, I know that's an extreme, but that's something that you could do.
Yeah.
Eventually, or just like picking up heavy stuff, or having to move a couch, or keep it more simplistic, like having to move a fridge. Or
like everyone should be able to do a pull-up. Yeah. You know why? Because if you fall off of something,
that's another thing. Yeah, if you can't do a pull-up, you will die if you're in a scenario where you're like on a cliff and you're holding on, but you can't pull yourself up.
I think that's the problem too. People don't view themselves in like those situations. Like I think my paranoia is it's an issue sometimes and it hinders me.
Yeah.
But I think it's also helpful because I'm like, I'm gonna be prepared for things.
Yeah.
People who are like soft, you know, like people who are like, I don't need to do this. They don't view themselves ever in those bad situations. They don't view themselves in ever needing those things.
Yeah.
And it's like they're just unprepared. Like,
yeah.
If one day, like, I guess not even talking about those extremes. Like, don't you want to be able to get out of bed yourself? Don't you want to be able to like, I don't know, pick yourself up if you fall?
Like when you're older, or
just in general, like you trip. Oh, you can't like get yourself off the ground. You have to like get someone to pick you up. Like,
are you talking like extremes, like 400, 500 pounds?
I'm not even saying that. Like people who are like, I don't know. I can't imagine like not being able to do a push-up. Right? You like fall down on the ground. You want to try to get yourself up. Yeah, you have to roll yourself over and then like kind of like push yourself up. Like that's so miserable. That'd be a miserable lifestyle.
Yeah. But a lot of those people just accept it. They're just like, okay, this is my life. This is the next thing I have to deal with. And this kind of goes back to just dealing with stuff.
It's the like, victim mentality.
Well, not even victim mentality, but just like, okay, this is my life. Like, okay, you have a terrible job. This is my life. This is what I need to do. Same thing goes with not being physically capable.
Wait, so you're using it as kind of a support from my earlier thing, my earlier virtue, where I was like, oh, like you should deal with it and just live your life. You're using that. Yeah, in a way to support being 400 pounds.
A little bit. No. I'm just saying that's what people do. They just accept it. They're just like, okay, I will deal with this now. They think there's no hope. They can't get better. They can't lose weight. They can't be stronger because they haven't been taught how to.
That's true. But I think some people, it's like, do you think it's a we can make this last like topic here, but
Okay.
do you think that it's because you know some people like they're really open to help, right? For example, me, I was very immediately I jumped into working out because people would help me out. I'd like see them, I'd get motivated. But you know, there's some people out there who are like they'll see it, they'll get all the help they want, and still they won't take it. They just decide not to do it. Do you think every person is just built different? I'm built different. I'm built different. No, but like, do you think that certain people are just like built different in terms of like they will always be like that, or do you think that's just like can be built?
I think a lot of it just takes time. So you have a lot of people that will quit before they reap the benefits of what they're doing. So you go out, your buddy. Okay, let's take this for an example. Your buddies take you out for lifting, right? And you lift for a week. You think it's kind of cool. But then the next week you're just kind of like, nah, I'm busy. Whatever. I want to go play video games. That first week probably sucked a lot because you found out you were really weak. You were sore all the time, and you didn't see any benefit from it. But if you were to keep going like you did, you would see improvements in strength, how you would feel the next day, physique. You were stronger, and a lot of people just quit before they start to see those results.
I think that's just our current culture. Going back to kind of going off the soft thing, but our current culture and people are so focused on that instant gratification. It's all instant gratification now.
I think you hit the nail on the head there. People want it now. Look at Amazon, okay? Like 1 day shipping, some places.
In all fairness, we did go to. So we went to Dick's today, and we hated retail as an industry because they do everything wrong. So in all fairness, I think Amazon does do things better, like pricing, like products.
Yeah, they're competitive.
But yeah, you're right. People will pay a high premium to get things a few hours earlier.
Within the hour, yeah, a few hours. And I think Amazon even has a service now, or is it? I think it's Amazon. They will deliver your groceries for you in under an hour.
Oh, I think a lot of companies. Yeah, it's ridiculous that people do that.
People like you can't like go to the grocery store yourself.
I think I think food delivery in general is like people who constantly do food delivery that are not like I know some people need it. Like for example, like people who are disabled or elderly people who like
it's
literally
an awesome
can't go out.
service to have if you are unable to go grab something else.
I think it's great for that. I think it's really important for them.
But it's abused.
Yeah,
it's abused by younger populations, especially college students.
And it's such a shame. Like you can't drive out and you'd rather spend $10 on delivery and rather than just drive out and get your food.
And pick up your food. I've done this a couple times where. Once during COVID, because I had COVID and I couldn't go out anywhere, I ordered Chipotle. I had, I think, a $7 bowl. By the time delivery happened and taxes went through, it was like $15, $16. I was just like, I paid double. I paid double for the same thing.
I think me and you especially are very willing to take the other path just to save some money.
Yeah, I mean, because money... Okay, so I came up working minimum wage back in high school and a little bit of middle school. Mm-hmm. When you make $7.25 for every hour that you work,
I did that.
Yeah, it's just you treat your money like gold. Mm-hmm. You don't want to spend it on anything. You look for deals. Because you realize you put a lot of time into making that money, and if you're not just gonna essentially throw it away on something that costs twice as much, right? You want something functional without paying the premium, I guess.
I think part of the issue for a lot of kids is that I wouldn't say they don't know hard work because but a lot of them I think a lot of them don't know hard work or maybe that they don't correlate like true hard work with directly with their money. Yeah, like we view our time and our dedication as money, and if we blow our money like that is hours wasted of our work because we just threw it away. Like if you're making minimum wage, you just burned an hour of work on delivery. Yeah. Like,
and I would equate. I did this for so many things. So going back to like video games, I didn't play a lot, but how I would justify buying a new game would be okay if I can get it for every $1 that I spend on this game. If I can get an hour to 2 hours of like playtime out of it, it will be worth it for me. So a lot of the new games that would come out, I would look at it and I'm like. That's a $60 price tag. I will not be putting 120 hours into this game. There's no way. So I would buy something cheaper, $10, $15, and get 20, 30, 40 hours out of it.
Yeah. Whenever I go to eat, I always get the cheapest thing on the menu, pretty much.
And also, when I go out to eat, you get the cheapest thing.
I think me and you are. I don't think me and you are in the middle of this, but I think we're definitely not extremes.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty far from the middle.
Extremes would be more okay. You're spending $20 a week on essentials at the grocery store, and you're living off of that.
Yeah.
We will go out. We'll buy
2 for $6.
Buy 2 for $6 at Arby's.
Arby's.
Every now and again, or we'll go out to eat, or we'll spend some money, but we're not extreme with it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Were you in the middle?
I don't think we're.
I don't think we're in the middle. At least for college students.
Oh yeah.
I've seen what my friends spend on just stuff.
College students are also just deviant degenerates. So
Most of them, yeah.
all of them. Every single
Why
last
are all
one.
the degens our friends? Why are we friends with degens?
Look, I think it's time to ask yourself a bigger question. Like,
Are we degens?
if everyone around you,
You are who you surround yourself with.
if it moves like if it walks like a chicken and it clucks like a chicken, it's probably a chicken.
Yeah.
If it hangs around all the degens and it does events with the degens, probably it's a degen. So, I think we're gonna wrap up. We have a chapter pretty soon, but yeah, this was a good nice coming back. We've been wanting to do this for a while.
We've just been busy.
Lazy.
So, well, kind of busy, kind of lazy.
I think both.
Especially for like the first.
Right in the middle.
Right
Mix
in
of
the
both.
middle. Gosh damn. We gotta stop being so average.
Well, thank you for listening or watching. We'll be trying to produce these probably back on the same schedule. Probably releasing every 2 weeks, at least.
We might try to bump it up.
Yeah,
I think if we stay consistent, we'll be good.
Yeah, but thank you for listening. I guess a takeaway from today, get after it. Don't be complacent. Don't learn to play the game, but also fix things that need to be fixed.
Yep.
What else did we talk about?
Work hard.
Don't expect immediate results.
I was trying to figure out how to word that. Yeah, don't get after it. Don't expect. I'm struggling here.
If you haven't gone to the gym today, go.
Go to the
right now.
I haven't been to the gym today, Dave.
Right now, go.
Okay.
Right now.
Bye.
But yeah, thank you guys for listening, and we will see you next time.
Yep. See you guys.